solution a little bit, although we have paucity of time, but after paucity of time and such a crucial time for the lunch even, we have huge number of these participants for this seminar. So I feel that we are doing well for the social cause here. Then co-chair and chair, I am thankful for everyone to join this this session, and I also thankful to the students and the different teams from the different universities that they are spending their crucial time for the social cause. And I certainly I have a task that we will be able to serve the society from our own part, although there are so many hurdles, there are so many barriers for serving. But I believe the primary thing is that what we are thinking and what we are trying to uh, materialize that thinking in real sense. And as this particular topic is related to the I would just like to speak on the senior citizens, that how the law is going to help them and we as a society going to help them. पहले मैं अपना practical experience share करना चाहूंगा आपसे, because we as a team have to go for the different field works, and sometime we felt that whether law is enough to sort out every kind of problem, and whether we are in a position to basically tackle every problem through legal tools or techniques that is there. And in that way, basically, we can elaborate that the nature of law, particularly once we start our discussion. So the nature of law, is it possible to solve every kind of problem that passes in the society by the law, or something other, cooperation and coordination from the other discipline, from other, societies elements will be required there? That is the basic question. So in that case, you can find out. I can decide, I can divide it in two parts: substantive part and the procedural part. That, and once I think we all are from the legal field, so you can easily see that once when it came for to discuss about the nature of the law, and I would emphasize one of the jurists in once we'll read about this is sociological approach, you will find that there was a jurist, Harlich. He said that there is a difference about the living law and that law on the paper. But the question, being a student or being a legal research scholar, we are supposed to find out that how that gap can be minimized. And that's why I was thinking about this discussion about this lecture, that what is the law that is going to help about the basically elderly persons, and how the nature of that kind of problem is different from other problems. और इसमें अगर ये प्रॉब्लम अगर हम देखें तो क्या ये दूसरे प्रॉब्लम से डिफरेंट क्यों है, और किस तरह से इस प्रॉब्लम को लीगली हम टैकल कर सकते हैं, क्या ये पॉसिबल है या नहीं है, और जो लॉ इनैक्ट किया गया है लेजिस्लेचर के द्वारा उसका सोर्स क्या है, और अल्टीमेटली although other than the source, how that law is going to be effective for protecting for whom that law was enacted. तो पहले आप इसको देखिए, क्योंकि जब प्रॉब्लमैटिक अगर आप सोसाइटी में जा रहे हैं, बुक इस जो आपको ज्ञान है कि व्हाट प्रोविजन टॉक अबाउट, सर्टेनली यू मे टॉक अबाउट द प्रीएम्बल ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन व्हिच इंश्योर्स अबाउट द सोशल जस्टिस and particularly for the social, economic and political justice, and elderly persons are not beyond that. And other than that, you may talk about the right to equality under Article 14. But I believe so that you may talk even about the Article 21 also, which ensures about the dignity of the individual even. But the question is that how these social institutions are working, how the law is going to preserve such kind of social institutions once when it came for positive, positive attitude that should be preserved, I believe. So because I was going through the different literature to find out that once when it came for, it has an impact that the families are disintegrating and we are losing our values and principles. So that another question came for that how the law is going to preserve the values and the principle that we had earlier, because in some of the writing you will find out that we always claim that it is the uh, western society that affected our own culture and families, and we are not able to basically cope up with those problems. But the question is that how what we tried and how these circumstances came into. मुझे याद है कि जब हम आउटरीचेज में जाते हैं तो यू विल सरप्राइज टू नो, यद्यप कि हमारे यहाँ अगर लिटरेसी रेट की बात करें तो लिटरेसी रेट का या कितने लोग राइट्स को लेकर के अवेयर हैं, ये भी एक क्वेश्चन होगा. बट एज वी आर डिस्कसिंग एकेडमिकली हियर फॉर इनकरेजिंग देम, फॉर एम्पावरिंग देम, तो प्राइमरी ये होता है कि जब हम जा रहे हैं आउटरीचेज में, यू विल फाइंड आउट कि जब आप फैमिलीज किसी के डोर को नॉक करते हो तो यू विल फाइंड आउट कि फैमिली में भी इवन सम आई थिंक अर्लियर स्पीकर वाज saying about the social attitude. It means that male and female are equally entitled for their rights and duties, but particularly once when it came for in society, attitude towards the women, attitudes towards the male, attitudes towards the other backward classes, SC, STs, is different. And that's why the question came for that whether the legal tools, the law that we are enacting, is able to bring about change in those social attitude. And if it is so, then what is the extent, whether it will take much more time. I'm not going to say that we are in the same at the same stage as it was earlier, but I believe so that the changing changing intensity or the situation is not at a as it is desirable. तो इतना इसमें कितना टाइम लगेगा, we cannot even imagine for bringing about the equality बिटवीन डिफरेंट सेक्शंस ऑफ द सोसाइटी. तो अब जब हम जाते हैं डोर टू डोर, आप कैंपेन कर रहे हो, अवेयरनेस कर रहे हो, या फिर आप आउटरीचेस के लिए जा रहे हैं टू फाइंड आउट द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ द सोसाइटीज, different even you will find out in different families they are not capable enough to share their own problem. And I should like to share one of the problem, because old lady came before the team, and it was not at their own door, but where we were there as a team. She came in a park and she said she was very much worried that other family mama like daughter-in-law and others should not heard that what he is sharing with the team. तो आप ये इमेजिन करिए कि उनकी अपनी प्रॉब्लम है, व्यक्तिगत है, और वो शेयर नहीं करना चाहते हैं. और अगर शेयर भी करेंगे, शेयर करने के बाद if they have the any legal claim, if they were exploited, so in that case how as a team we can cooperate with them, because अगर हम legally भी help करना चाहते हैं तो it will bring so many problem. अब हम बात करेंगे, because I was elaborating about the nature of the law, so substantive part or procedural part, because I believe so that we are elaborating more academically. As a substantive part, we are discussing about the critical point of different statutory provisions we can even see, but how these laws are going to be implemented and what are the complications that we can talk about here for making those laws as effective as it is desired by the legislature that enacted the laws. अब इसमें अब देखिए elderly persons के लिए I'm not going to say that the problem is the new, but I think the problem is increasing and that is a serious issue. And we can search about, although we will differ about the reason to find out the reason that why this problem is increasing, but certainly it is serious because it's a cycle. Today we are young, tomorrow we will also be old, tomorrow we will also be in a position to find out that what kind of problem was there with earlier what we were discussing. But I feel that after certain time we will be able to basically bring or basically able to sustain what we had earlier about our families. तो अभी देखिए फैमिली में डिसइंटीग्रेशन हो रहा है, उसके कारण क्या है? There will be some certainly socio-economic factors for that. But the question is that whether we can bring such love and affection towards the elderly persons as it was earlier, क्योंकि अब हम materialistic word की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं, because we are searching about the happiness in the material, and that's why I believe so that we are losing our values and principle. Even I believe with a certain kind of love and affection with principle and values, even we can live in what we have. तो अब उन प्रिंसिपल और वैल्यूज को यद्यपि इसको कोरिलेट करना थोड़ा कठिन है कि क्या मटेरियलिस्टिक सोच की वजह से ही ऐसा हो रहा है या कोई और भी चेंजेस हो रहे हैं, बट द क्वेश्चन इज दैट whether it is constitutionally protected right the maintenance and welfare of the parents and the senior citizens at that was enacted in 2007, और इसके प्रोविजंस को आप देखेंगे तो यू विल फाइंड आउट कि इट्स आई बिलीव सो दैट इट्स अ गुड लॉ, बट द क्वेश्चन दैट केम फॉर कंसिडरेशन एंड आई वाज थिंकिंग अबाउट once when it came for whom it is available and how it is effective, and I was going through about the against whom a person can claim their right, but as once when it came for if neglect person as a parent or as an elderly person is going to seek the remedy under the law, so there is different problems, as he may claim their right over the right forum over the before the tribunals, but once when it came for only providing financial assistance, whether it can be, दूसरी बात यह है कि क्या हम इस तरह के सेटअप के द्वारा वट वी आर लूजिंग, कि जैसे मैं सपोज करिए कि मैं अपने पेरेंट्स का अकेला सन हूं, एंड इफ आई एम न्यूट्रल टुवर्ड्स माय पेरेंट्स, तो अदर ऑप्शंस जो स्टेट के द्वारा प्रोवाइड किया जा रहा है, क्या उसको इक्वली स्टेटस में देखा जा सकता है कि नहीं, वेदर द स्टेट एजेंसीज आइदर थ्रू द ट्रिब्यूनल और थ्रू ओल्ड एज होम it can be provided or not, and you will see, and I was going through the maintenance basically once when it came for the maintenance, so this maintenance, once you'll read about the maintenance basically I was going through, and it has mentioned in definitional class that they require food, clothing, residence, medical attendance and treatment. Do you believe that a person who has given every means once you was young as a daughter or as a son is only in the requirement of this food, clothing, residence? What about the psychological aspect about the love and emotions? Can be supplemented by the other agencies or not? And I believe so that for a dignified life, through this enactment we have touched only about the materialistic approach, that is physical form, but psychological or love and affection that is there, that should also be taken into consideration. And but the question is that how the law can basically bring those in love and affection that exist in the family, as a daughter, as a son, as a parents. So the question is whether it can be provided or not. Another point that I should raise, because it does not mean that this law is not enough, but I believe so that some changes will be required, that whether the dignity that was that is in a family can be ensured in the old age home or not, because in this case you will see there in cases where there are no children, even the old age home is there, and that is obligation over the state, that state will constitute about the old age home. And other than that, I would just like to say, because we are certainly with an objective here to serve as a society, as a legal aid committee for the not only about the senior citizen, for the we can address about the every kind of problem that persists in the society. But I would just like to suggest you can even make different committees, so that those different committees may address different issues, and they can even do the research on those committee and find the real cause for such kind of cases, and they can provide the data that may be helpful for the policy making further also. अब इसमें आप देखिए, इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या हो रही है? प्रॉब्लम ये है कि अब आप ये देखिए कि इसमें जो आपका अल्टीमेटली प्रोसीजर है, किस तरह से कंप्लेन होगी, तो उस कंप्लेन में यू विल सी दैट इवन द सीनियर सिटीजन में गो फॉर एन एप्लीकेशन बिफोर द ट्रिब्यूनल, उसके बिहाफ पे कोई वॉलंटरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन भी जा सकता है, और उसमें सोसाइटीज रजिस्टर्ड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन भी जा सकते हैं, एंड वी एज ए कमिटी इवन कैन अप्रोच, अगर लगता है कि कोई सीनियर सिटीजन है, हम जाते हैं डोर टू डोर, और वहां पे हमें लगता है कि किसी सीनियर सिटीजन्स का एक्सप्लॉइट, एंड यू विल सरप्राइज टू नो कि क्योंकि हमारी सोसाइटी अलग है, एंड आई शुड टेक इट पॉजिटिव कि इवन कितना भी एक्सप्लॉइट अगर उसके पेरेंट्स को कोई भी अगर चिल्ड्रन एक्सप्लॉइट कर रहे हैं, बट दे विल नेवर कंप्लेन अगेंस्ट देम। तो अब उसमें लीगली भी आप बहुत एक्टिव हैं, आप उनको हेल्प करना चाहते हैं, तो देन यू बिकम यू नो you don't have the option to basically help them anyhow। तो इस वजह से एक तरह से हम देखें अगर इसको, तो ये प्रॉब्लम नेचर में अलग है। एंड आई शुड आल्सो शेयर अबाउट द that is about the compensation, and that is maximum it is about the 10,000, and other than that once you'll see in comparison of the this maintenance, there is a punishment also. So you should see that the punishment that is there, if anyone is going to neutral towards their parents or the senior citizens, as in case of relatives, तो उसको पनिशमेंट भी इसमें दिया जा सकता है। सो आई बिलीव दैट इट्स अ गुड इनिशिएटिव, बट अदर देन दैट आई थिंक देयर इज a need for the coordination between different sections of the society, and I think we as a person of law, we will be able to aware the people that they are not even, I think वो दया के पात्र नहीं है, they have the right कि वो हमसे अपने अधिकारों को प्रिजर्व कर सके, और उसमें हम बीइंग अ कमिटी वी कैन हेल्प देम वंस इट इज रिक्वायर्ड। और इस तरह की कुछ केसेस आती हैं, तो आई बिलीव सो दैट दैट प्राइमरली द अवेयरनेस इज प्रिमिटिव स्टेज अवेयरनेस के बाद, क्योंकि उनको अधिकार भी पता नहीं है कि उनके अधिकार क्या हैं चिल्ड्रंस के अगेंस्ट में, या फैमिली जो न्यूट्रल हैं उनके अगेंस्ट में। सो वी एज अ स्टूडेंट, वी एज अ टीचर, वी एज अ पर्सन ऑफ लॉ are supposed to inform them that they have the rights, so they can implement them against the person those who are not taking care of those elderly persons। तो एक तरह से लॉ है, समाज है, राज्य है, सबकी अपनी अपनी भूमिका है, और उसमें मैं आप लोगों को इसलिए भी अप्रिशिएट कर रहा हूँ कि बिकॉज दिस इनिशिएटिव इज voluntarily, and I am very much basically happy to see that a huge number of students and the person from the law background is coming forward for helping the society without any kind of interest. Voluntarily they are willing to serve, and I hope so that this whole committee will work to achieve the different objectives, not only about the elderly person, and I being a teacher is always behind you। हमसे जब भी आवश्यकता पड़ती है तो आप बोलेंगे, क्योंकि हमारा ये इनिशिएटिव था, एंड आई अप्रिशिएट दैट दिस दिनेश एंड परमेश्वरी, they started before 2 years this project Saksham, and it is going to be spread all over the India, and I believe sir that we will be able to help the needy। Thank you so much, that's all for today।
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and sharing your wise words. I am very much delighted to introduce our next guest, that for technical session number 3, Dr. Megha Garg ma'am. Dr. Megha Garg ma'am is a BA LLB LLM UCG NET qualified, working as an assistant professor in KR Mangalam University, Gurugram. She has a total of 6.5 years of experience in academics. She has submitted her thesis titled The Controversy of Surrogacy in Indian Perspective and Analytical Study. She has also presented several papers in national and international conferences and seminars. Her previous experiences are that she has practiced in Gurgaon District Courts and Subdivisional Courts, SONA, since 2012 to 2015, exclusively in criminal law, civil law, NI Act, matrimonial disputes, and motor accident claim tribunal. She has been an assistant professor in B.S. Angapurya Institute of Law, assistant professor in MVN University, and assistant professor in SGT University, Gurugram. I welcome you, ma'am. You can take over now and start your.
Thank you, dear. Thank you so much for such a warm introduction. Because of some technical issue, I am not able to switch on my camera. So if it's okay, then I would start.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I would be as Sir already said so much about the rights and the laws related to senior citizens in India. So I'll be basically throwing the light that what are the various problems that senior citizens are facing in Indian scenario, and what are the laws to protect them. So as far as the rights, the problems that senior citizens and the person with disabilities are facing is related to like lack of awareness that there are certain laws in India that protect the rights of senior citizens and PWDs, but there is a lack of awareness, and many senior citizens and PWDs may not be fully informed about these rights that is granted to them through the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents in Senior Citizen Act 2007 or Person with Disabilities Act 2016. Another problem that we can say is that they face social stigma and discrimination, that age related discrimination for elderly people or marginalized in family and society. And for PWDs, it is encountering the social stigma which leads in discrimination in employment, education, and social inclusion. Then they're having the financial constraint that senior citizen, as they are not employable, they face various financial hardships. They may be without pension, so they face financial constraint. Same with the PWDs, that because of their disability, they face problem in getting employment, so they face financial constraints such as medical expensive, specialized cares and assistive devices. Another problem that they are facing is, we can say, is accessibility issues, that because of the old age, because of the elderly people are facing inadequate transportation, inaccessible public facilities. um, they may be prevented from accessing legal and health services. And for PWDs, again, they are also having the accessibility issues. They are not accessible for the public infrastructures. Sometimes because of their disability, they are discriminated, despite of we are having Article 15 that prevents, that prohibits prohibition that discrimination. Then there are certain kind of abuse and exploitation that we see in our present scenario, that they face many kind of abuse and exploitation. There are many old age homes where the children through their parents into that old age home, and we see many disabled person. We have made a visit to one old age home, or we can say the healthcare center that is in Bandwadi, and we see many people over there. Like those are very old age people. Those are suffering from many diseases. Some says that our children left us here and they never come back. And some are like that they found those persons in a very harsh conditions nearby some nalas or nearby some road, and they were very devastating conditions. So these kind of abuse and exploitation these people faces. Now the question is, what are the laws where which can protect these senior citizens and these PWDs people, and what are their rights? What are their rights which they can claim? And in claiming those rights, legal aid committee can help them. So the rights which are available here is right to maintenance, that they are having right to parents. Elderly people are having right to claim maintenance under our procedural law, previously under Section 125 of CRPC, and now in BNSS, Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita. Moreover, we are having one Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007, under which also the senior citizens can claim maintenance from their children on or legal heirs if they are not able to sustain themselves. Then they are having right to healthcare facilities. Senior citizen and PWDs both are having entitled to free medical services. Then right to dignity and respect, right to social security, right to life and property, and the most essential right for which for which we all under this Saksham project or the part of legal aid committee work, that is free legal aid services. So if any senior citizen people or the PWDs people are um, not capable of getting their rights, if they are not capable of survival, if they are not getting the social security and proper life and liberty, then they can access to free legal aid under the NALSA scheme. And now the question is, if we are saying that they can approach legal aid committee, then how this legal aid committee can help them? How can you be the part of Saksham project can help these elderly people and senior citizens? So this is the basic thing that you can provide them, being a part of Saksham. Then the first and the foremost thing that we can do is to provide awareness and education. You can conduct awareness program to educate these senior citizens and PWDs people. Then you can provide them free legal assistance. Uh, Free legal assistance that includes representation in court. You can, if you are the part of pro bono club or you are part of Saksham project, then you can make them approach to some lawyer for to some legal aid advocate, and that can provide them representation in court. You can help them in drafting their legal documents and advice on various issues concerning their rights that I have just mentioned. Then the most prevalent thing that is there in present scenario is mediation and counseling. Mediation and counseling, especially in cases of family dispute or the property matters, you can assist them in resolving their disputes through mediation. Legal aid committee or the part of Saksham, you can help them in filing complaint in police stations or before magistrate regarding violation of their rights, like in case of abuse, in case of neglect, in case of fraudulent property transfer. And also you can support them in maintenance cases, being part of legal aid committee, being part of legal aid program, that filing, you may help them in filing maintenance claims under the act which I have just mentioned, that Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Citizens Act and Person with Disability Act, under which they have been provided various facilities and provisions to protect the disabled person from exploitation, and ensuring so that you may ensure them to receive financial support which they are entitled to. So I think this what I can say on the senior citizens and PWD rights. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your words with us and joining us. Now, I would like my co-host, Ms. Akanksha Srivastava, to take over the further session.
Thank you, Rifat. As we come to the conclusion of this insightful and meaningful session, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guests, Dr. Upendra Nath Sir and Dr. Megha Garg ma'am. Your contributions were thought-provoking and informative, providing us with a deeper understanding of the issues faced by senior citizens and persons with disabilities. Lastly, I would like to thank all the participants for the engagement. Your involvement has enriched the discussions, and together, we have taken a step towards addressing these critical social issues. Please note that our meeting is not yet concluded, as we have our next session on labor class scheduled from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. today. Additionally, due to time constraints, some of our remaining guests will be joining in the upcoming sessions. Thank you for your time and attention. See you in the next session.